Hey guys, okay, so for the first half of the class, we're going to do the worksheet that is called Trig Function Graphs. And on it, it tells you to graph the following functions and to graph two full periods. Find the pertinent information and label the axes appropriately. You must show your work and your tables. Alright, so, look at let's just do number 1, just as a reminder. So number 1 tells us that we're going to graph the y is equal to -3 cosine of x. And this one asks us for the amplitude, which, just to review, remember amplitude is the absolute value of that a value, and so it's 3. It asks for the period. Remember, period is 2 pi over b, and in this case, the b value is a 1, so we just get that it's 2 pi. Okay, then it asks for the x scale, but you really can't answer that until you know what your table is going to be. And then don't worry about the other. Other could be your phase shift. It could be your vertical shift. You need to know how to do those for the test on Friday. All right, so remember our parent function is cosine. And so cosine has a table 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. And remember, it starts up at the top, so it starts at 1, goes down and comes back up. Alright, so for this function, the only number we have there is at -3, and is that going to affect my x or my y? Well, it's not with the x, it's going to affect the y, and it's -3 times, so we're just going to multiply our y's by -3. So rewrite all your x's, because they didn't change, and multiply all those y's by -3. So when we go to graph this, we can see that we know by looking at our table that our our y's need to go down to -3 and up to +3. And so what I did is, because it only gave us 2 lines on our y-axis, I added in extra. I split those in half, so that way my graph actually goes from -4 to +4. Now I know I've got lines and you don't. If you look, you do have little dots there to help you line them up, but they're really hard to see on the paper. Alright, then your x-axis, you need to go from 0 to 2 pi. Well, you actually, though, because it says to graph it from 2 full periods, well, it just says 2 full periods. I'm sorry, I was thinking -2 pi to +2 pi. So let's go ahead and let's graph 1 full period. And since I went to 2 pi that way, I'm going to go to -2 pi the other way. And if I need to add in some more points, I can, to graph my 2 full periods. Alright, so I'm going to graph what it told me. 0, -3, pi over 2, 0, pi, +3, 3 pi over 2, 0, and 2 pi, -3. Alright, so that's 1 full period, but it said 2. So, I'm not going to go to the right because there's not much room there, but I am then going to go to the left, and I'm just going to follow my pattern. And so I connect them. Oops, that's not very good looking. Try to make it curved as possible. I know some of them are hard. Remember, it continues. Alright, and so there's 2 full periods. So you need to work the rest of this paper here. You may omit number 8. Be careful, on the back of the second page there is a 9 and 10 where I give you the amplitude, I give you the period, I give you the phase shift, and I give you the vertical shift, and you need to take them to be able to find your A, B, C, and D, and then plug them into that cosine equation. Alright, so I'm going to remind you now. I'll remind you in the second half of class, don't forget to make sure your plate is ready for class on Friday. You're not going to have a lot of time because it's a short class period to do the test. So y'all need to get started as soon as that bell rings for class to start. Alright.